Section C, asset type 8. All right. Okay, 5 years ago, Arlington Industries expanded vertically by acquiring one of its suppliers. When you acquire your supplier, this is called vertical backward integration. And when you buy out your own customer, it's called vertical forward. You will discuss in your CMA Part 2, Section B, Corporate Finance, Business Combinations. So you have vertically integrated backward with your supplier, and the name of the supplier is Redix Plastics. Arlington monitors its divisions based on both product contribution and return on investment, with investment defined as average operating assets employed. This is how they have defined operating assets, because in return on investment, this is the formula we use. Return on investments is equal to operating profit, sometimes take a net income, upon assets. Now this asset base could be total assets employed, total assets available, assets at book value, assets at market value, assets at replacement cost, assets at net present value. So since it's not a standardized ratio, you can use any combination of profits and assets you want. So for them, they have considered the assets as average operating assets employed. That excludes the assets that are not being used, that is extra land or extra surplus machinery or assets that are not used. Only assets employed. Right. That's the idea. All investments in operating assets are expected to earn a minimum return of 11%. That's our required rate of return before income taxes. Required rate of return, target rate of return. Management bonuses are also determined based upon return on investment. Now this is interesting. Bonuses are determined based on return on investment, right? And we have also been given the required rate of return that will help us calculate residual income. Remember, whenever the performance is evaluated based upon return on investment, it will conflict with the business objective. Managers with the higher ROI, they will be reluctant to take on a project offering less ROI. We'll discuss in detail. That will be an issue in this question. The cost of goods sold at Redix is fully variable, while administrative expenses are not dependent on sales volume. These expenses, administrative, they are not dependent on sales volume, means they are fixed. Selling expenses are mixed cost with 40% attributable to sales, while 60% is fixed. So these selling expenses, 40% are variable, that vary with the level of sales, and 60% are fixed. Since Arlington acquired Redix, the ROI at Redix has ranged from 11.8% to 14.7%. This is the ROI now after the combination. During the fiscal year just ended, Redix considered a capital acquisition with an estimated ROI of 11.5%. This is what we are expecting. So this is our new ROI after the combination. However, divisions management decided against the capital acquisition because it believed that the capital acquisition would decrease the division's ROI. This is the current ROI between 11.8 to 14.7. Taking on a project giving less return on investment will cause the overall return on investment of this division to fall. That's the issue. We'll discuss in question. Now, the abbreviated most recent condensed, abbreviated means condensed income statement, just giving you the main items of income statement. So the abbreviated or condensed most recent income statement for Redix is presented below. The division's operating assets employed is 15.75 million at a year end, a 5% increase over the previous year. These assets represent 5% increase over the last year. We'll discuss all this as we move along. It was just an overview. Don't worry. Sales revenue is given, cost of goods sold is given, administrative, which is all fixed, selling expenses, which are 40% variable, 60% fixed, and that's your operating income that you receive. All right. What's the first question? Calculate the unit contribution margin for Redix Plastics if 1484 units were produced and sold during the fiscal year. Contribution margin is contribution generated divided by number of units, 1484. Let us see the contribution, and we know how to calculate contribution. Contribution is sales minus all the variable cost. This is your sales. This is your variable cost. Administrative expenses must be ignored because they are all fixed. Sales minus variable cost give you contribution. And out of the selling cost, 2700, 40% is variable. That's what we are interested in. So 2700, 40%, that gives you 1080. So it's 16,500 and 1080. It gives you a contribution of 7.42 million. This is the total contribution earned in the last year. And this contribution was earned by selling how many units? Given in the next slide, 1484. 1484. So we'll simply divide this number, 742 with 1484, gives you a contribution margin per unit of $5. This much simple calculation given in a paragraphic form would be sufficient. Do not overdo. It won't get you any extra credit. Simple. Unit contribution margin, sales minus variable cost. This is the sales, this is the variable cost in a paragraphic form, and exactly that's what we've got. Simple computation laid out, and you get the full credit. Next, based on the average operating assets employed, calculate a return on investment 1 and a residual income 2 for the Radix Plastics division. Going back, we need return on investment and residual income both. Alright, for this we need first the data. We have income from operations. Here we will calculate return on investment. Here we will calculate the residual income. What's the formula? We discussed a little while earlier. Return on investment is the operating profit, ideally, upon the average operating assets. So numerator, no big deal. Numerator is already there. 1845,000. Average operating assets. When you say average, it means opening plus closing upon 2. We have the closing assets for this year. 15.75 million. 15.75 million. What about the opening assets? These assets given 15.75, they are 5% higher than the last year. How would you find the last year's assets? Simple. 15.75 million. They represent 105% of the last year's assets divided with 105% of 1.05. 15.75 million divided by 1.05 gives you exact 15 million. Exact 15 million. This was the balance of assets, operating assets last year. 15.75 is the balance of assets current year. So 15 plus 15.75 divided by 2 give you the average of 15.375 million. 15.375 million. Next step is very simple. 1845 divided by 15,375,000. It's an exact 12%, which is an indication that your result is okay. We can go back and check. That was your question 2. 12%, right? Correct. Now we need residual income. What's the formula? Operating profit minus desired rate of return into average total assets. We have everything what we need. Operating profit is 1.845 million. 1845. Required return is 11%. Average assets employed 15,375 million. 15,375 million. Right. So let me calculate the result. 1,845,000 less 11% of 1,537,500. It's 153. Positive residual income 153,750. And that's what you need to give in a suitable format. I would recommend a paragraphic form is fine. Do not go for columns because they only waste your time. Give your information. See, exact 15,375. That's the exact number we got. 15,375. Residual income. You can give in paragraphic form. If you're comfortable with this layout, it's perfectly fine. It's totally up to you. You just need to make sure that you do not overspend time on calculations or working that are not necessary, right? Fine, done. ROI and RI are both given here. Part is done. Next. Explain why the management of Radix Plastics would have been more likely to accept proposed capital acquisition of RI rather than ROI was used as a performance measure. We have discussed that there can be a goal divergence. Return on investment and residual income, they can sometimes result in opposite or what you can say competing recommendations. If you just look at this information given, let's read it again. Maybe we didn't read it well before. Since Aldrington acquired Redix, the ROI at Redix has ranged from 11 point. This was our existing return on investment. This is our existing return on investment. The problem is that if we take on this new supplier, Redix Plastics, our overall return on investment may fall. That's the problem. So sometimes even the return is good. Return is more than our desired rate of return. 11% is what we expect minimum. This is 11.5. 0.5% higher than our desired rate of return. But since our existing return is higher, we will not be interested or tempted to take on a project that is offering lower return than our existing return. That's the main problem. That is the main problem. And right now our return on investment, which we calculated, was 12%. So a division or a segment or a company that is currently earning 12% ROI, why would they take a project or a subsidiary or combination of a business that will offer 11.5%? Overall return will fall. That is the problem in this question. So going back to the question here again, explain why the management of Redix Plastics would have been more likely to accept the proposed capital acquisition if RI rather than ROI was used. The reason is that right now our return on investment is 12%. If you offer a project offering you return on investment of 11%, it is more likely to result in a rejection, right? But if you adopt residual income approach, where any project giving more than 11% return, because our required rate of return is 11%, any project, any division, any segment, any investment that gives a return more than 11%, like in this case 11.5%, it should be good for the company. That is the reason a return on investment and a residual income, they can sometimes give conflicting results. They point in the opposite directions. So if you use return on investments, the project might be rejected. But if you use residual income, any project generating more than 11% is fine. It's 11.5% means more than acceptable. 0.5% extra, even slightly more, but still acceptable. So that's the point. If there is a conflict between ROI and RI, we should go with RI. Residual income is a better performance measure because it results in goal congruence, right? So that's our idea would be residual income. And residual income, as I said, residual income is a better measure. This is given right here. Required rate of it is 11%. New project is given 11.5. So under ROI, it might be discouraged, but under residual income approach, any project generating 11% slightly above would be fine for the company, because we have to look at the company as a whole. Interests of the company are more important than the individual interest of the segment managers or divisions. That's the important point to remember. Next, identify one disadvantage for the organization to focus only on ROI and RI. In other words, you need to discuss or just identify, not discuss, disadvantages of both return on investment and residual income. So what is the disadvantage of residual income? The comparison is through dollars, because if you remember, we calculated our residual income in our question number here, this 153,750. Comparing dollar versus dollar is difficult, because dollar is not an absolute measure. It's not a relative measure, because comparing dollars with dollars sometimes could be misleading. We need a relative measure for performance evaluation. That's the drawback of residual income, because the result is dollar. So comparing dollar versus dollar is not sometimes meaningful. So comparison through dollar is difficult for performance evaluation purpose. This is the drawback for residual income. What about return on investment? We can discuss just the issue we faced in our question. Return on investment can mislead the decision makers, because any department or division that is generating a high return will not take on the project offering less return on investment. It results in goal divergence. It results in sub-optimization. It results in self-interest of the managers. That's the exact response you should give, self-interest of manager. You will take on only those projects that will maximize your bonuses, because if you remember, bonuses are given based on ROI. Management bonuses are also determined based on return on investment. So you will definitely look for those projects that offer you high return on investment. You can compromise the interest of company over your own personal financial interest. That's the problem. Now, next question number 5. Redix Plastic is a separate investment center within Arlington Industries. Identify 3 other types of responsibility centers. This is we have done many times. There are 4 types of responsibility centers: investment centers, cost centers, revenue centers, and profit centers. Nothing. So since it's an investment center, other 3 would be cost center, revenue center, and profit center. Do not do anything else. This is enough to get full credit. Stop and move on. Right? Give what is required. Next, identify the items that Redix should control if it is to be evaluated fairly by using return on investment or residual income. We have just discussed these formulas a little while earlier. Return on investment is equal to operating profit upon average total assets, for example. Take this version of the formula. And residual income is equal to operating profit minus required rate of return into average total assets. Okay, now breaking it down, we know operating profit is equal to revenue minus costs upon investments. So you can see here, return on investment considers revenues, costs, and investments. That's why all these 3 measures are here. That's why it's called an investment center. For investment center valuation, we should have the measure of revenue, cost, and investments. For this, same thing. Operating profit is the difference between revenues and costs, and average total assets represents investment. So we have the same measures of performance here: revenue, costs, and investments. So to fairly evaluate the performance of an investment center, there is an element of controllability. If you control revenues, if you control costs, if you also control invested capital, then your performance must be evaluated as an investment center using return on investment and residual income. If you only control costs and revenues, then your responsibility center is a profit center. Then your performance must be evaluated based on profit margins. That's an important point. And that's all. Assay type is over.